Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Munch, munch, munch.
Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenge of being a man in modern society and whatever the hell that phrase even means. I'm Kane, and joining me today to chat man stuff are Ryan and Matty. Now, it is 8 days until Christmas, gentlemen. What have you been up to today?
Did a spot of shopping today, Kano. Evening, Ryan. Did some last minute shopping for a few of the family members. That's about it, really. Shopping.
Now, I was exchanging text messages with you both today. I believe you were also shopping today, Ryan.
Yeah, I was doing some shopping as well, and I'd love to say that it was last minute like Matt, but I think I'm about halfway through, so I'll still have some more shopping to go, I'm sure.
I think 8 days out's actually technically organised, Matt. I think you're doing yourself a disservice there. Last minute would be if you're rushing around on Christmas Eve, just trying to wrap stuff and shove stuff under a tree for family members.
No, I've been very organised this year. As you guys know, I've been looking after the youngest Sam for the last 3 months. So most weeks I tend to duck out to the shops and just try and pick up one or two things off the list. So my list has been pretty much done and dusted for some time. But prior years, it's always a bit of a mad rush at the end. But I do enjoy that little that rush of excitement and pressure to try and get everything done by the last minute. And I don't even mind ducking out to the shops for those midnight shops they have on the 23rd or 24th. It's always a bit of fun as well.
It's a time pressure, isn't it? It's like if you're doing an exam or something like that, it's a time pressure of actually having to do something which will make you go and do it. So I can completely understand that. We are going to discuss shopping tonight as our topic. But before we get into that, Matthew, it is, like I said before, 8 days until Christmas. How is the cubby going? Will it be open for Christmas?
Look, we've had a bad run of weather up here. Not to throw out too many excuses, but look, it's got a roof, it's got 4 walls, it's got spots for windows and a door. They're not on yet, but yeah, the kids have moved their stuff in. So as far as they're concerned, it's good to go. It may not be OH&S proper, but they don't care.
All right, Jen, so shopping. You're both shopping today. Do you enjoy shopping? Is it something you get a kick out of? Is it something you have to do? How does it work for you both? Matthew?
Yeah, look, I'm not ashamed to say that I absolutely love shopping. I love shopping from the groceries all the way through to, department store type shopping. Kim, on the other hand, hates both types. So, grocery shopping, I just love walking around, browsing the aisles, seeing what's on special, seeing what's out there. And, generally I take one of the kids as well with me. I take it in turns each week with them, and they enjoy it as well. So, and even, ducking out to Myer and just walking. Our local is a local Westfield, so it's got all the shops you need there. So yeah, I don't mind going out there and spending a bit of time there when I can. Ryan, what about yourself?
Yeah, I don't mind shopping either. I always say that I'm very glad that I live in an apartment. Otherwise, I'd spend a lot more time shopping, because living in a smaller space means that you don't buy as much stuff. But no, I quite like going shopping. Although I will admit, and I'll attest to, TK definitely hates going shopping with me. And most of my friends now refuse to go shopping with me because I am an absolute nightmare to shop with. I'm extremely picky, especially when it comes to clothes. So I love it, but I don't think the people around me love me shopping too much.
Okay, so when you say picky, like you're obviously particular with what you're wearing. I've seen you in the flesh. You're a very sharply dressed young man. Do you then try on a lot of things and take a lot of things off and ask for opinions? Or is that the bit which is trying for other people who go with you?
Very, yeah. It drives them insane. Tali's like very glad that after about 5 years together, I'm really like refining things down to like 3 or 4 brands where I go, yep, I know they fit pretty well. But before that, I mean, it was hours that we could spend in a shopping centre, which probably isn't the most manly thing to say, but yeah, I'm usually the one trying on 10 different clothes, and she's waiting there going, I picked it off the shelf, I'm sure it'll fit. Can we please go now? So
I like you to care whether your butt looks big in something, right? I like it. Asking an opinion to make sure it all looks okay.
You gotta look sharp these days.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. The standard of dress required just in general has certainly upped over the last couple of decades, or at least in the last 10 years. I remember a guy that I used to work with at the accounting firm used to rock the long sleeve T-shirt under a short sleeve T-shirt on casual Fridays, and now he gets around in a fairly well dressed sort of suit most of the time. So male fashion has come a long way. Well, I actually used to quite like shopping, but I can remember the day that my sort of love for shopping kind of died. I went into David Jones with my better half, and I spent an hour sitting on this couch while she was doing some hardcore bathers shopping, and there's no Wi-Fi. There was really nothing to do. All I could do was stare at my feet. So that part of me died that day. So now if it's not available online to me, I generally don't kind of buy stuff. You guys buy much clothing online, or again, you like the experience of going shopping and physically trying things on? So is your preference to go to a shopping center a lot of the time?
Mine is purely because I always want to try something on before I buy it. I'd hate to have to buy something, try it on when it comes in the mail or delivered. It doesn't fit, then it's got to be returned. So I don't mind ducking out to the shops and shopping for a while. But I'm a bit similar to you, Ryan, in that, well, Kim hasn't said it to me, but I think she probably does mean it, that I would go around the shops and, for maybe an hour or 2 hours with the intention of buying a certain shirt or shorts or something like that. And, if I'm just not feeling the vibe, I'll just walk away with nothing. And I think that really frustrates her. So I tend to go shopping by myself a lot now. And even when it comes to Christmas, birthdays, that kind of thing, I try to tell people in a nice way, I don't want any clothing from them, because it's very selective what you want to wear. You know what you like. Sometimes they don't. And you get stuck with, a Hawaiian shirt or something like that that's just going to sit in the cupboard.
That is music to my ears. I can definitely attest to. So I would agree with you. I don't really buy clothes online. Very different to my partner. She's very easy with it. I completely agree with what you're saying there, Matt. In terms of some days you're on, and this sounds really bad with shopping, but you have like the on days where you just go, yep, I can't go wrong here, and I'm going to pick this. And then other days you're like, I just need to get this one item, and I've spent 2 hours in an entire shopping complex and I just cannot find it, and you walk away with nothing. And I think it's experiences like that have pretty much relegated me to clothes shopping by myself.
They frustrate you both personally, though, when you spend a couple of hours in there and you can't find what you want, or you kind of like the experience and it doesn't matter so much? I can see how it would frustrate partners, but for you both personally, do you really care if you walk away with nothing?
No, I don't really care. I mean, at the time I might I think, oh, this is a bit of a waste of time. But, you get to walk around the shops and see what, it sounds pretty crappy, doesn't it? See what's out there, and then jump back in the car, and then you jump back online and see where it might be somewhere else, and eventually you'll get it.
Yeah, I've gotten better. I've certainly gotten better at picking up, going, no, it's just not happening today. Not happening today. So the days of spending 2 hours probably don't exist anymore, but after about 45 minutes or 60 minutes, and I'm just like, just not feeling it today. But exactly what Matt's saying, you've gone around, you've had a look, it probably will spark, great consumer behavior from my end, but probably spark some ideas to go, yeah, actually over the next month, I do want to find one of these and pick up one of them, and that kind of thing. But no, I don't hate it. Don't think of it as a huge waste of time.
Well, okay, gents. Well, what are some of your brands then? Like, you've obviously got brands that you kind of like and which sort of fit best in your case, Ryan. Do you have a sort of go-to what suits you guys?
So I go with the very luxurious cotton-on $15 t-shirts.
Yes.
Quite like them. They're just a good fit, and you put a blazer over them and they're completely fine. But yeah, more properly, I guess, big fan of Calvin Klein stuff. The whole minimalism thing that they do sort of resonates well. Big fan of Nike as well, in terms of just their athletic wear, and probably also influence, because I'm reading the guy who started its book at the moment. And then suits wise, it's always frustrated me, but a mate of mine recently got me onto MJ Bale, and since going to them, their sort of shirts and I guess work gear has been a bit of a blessing. So I'm sort of restricting myself to those ones of late, and it seems to be going okay.
Yeah, so similar to Ryan with Nike for athletic kind of apparel. Your day-to-day sort of casual gear is more probably around your industry, and then probably with the work gear, we don't have to wear full suits where I am because it's stinking hot. But generally, just some pants from Black. I generally have a good fit on those ones, so they're not too bad. Yeah,
That's Black with a Q, isn't it, Matthew?
Black with a Q. Yeah, I hope I'm saying it right.
Fancy.
Well,
What about you, Kane?
I like the cotton-ons, guys. Cotton-ons and Kmart t-shirts are kind of my default. I don't have to really get dressed up for work anymore. A lot of the clients we have now are kind of based around, I guess, business casual. Like they expect us to not dress in suits as accountants now, where 5 or 10 years ago, the expectation was you're probably still in a suit. I remember rolling into one of the clients with a suit on once. They just said, what are you fucking, what are you going a suit on for? So yeah, from that point on, I've just basically dressed however I felt. And a lot of times it is just a black pair of jeans and a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt. So it's low maintenance. I did try to almost send my entire wardrobe to black and white t-shirts, but my better half said, listen, you probably need a little bit of a color. I've gone, white's a color? And she goes, no, white is not a color, it's a shade. So she was right and I was wrong, as is usually the case. But yeah, I'm very much on the minimalist sort of bandwagon now with regards to clothing.
Do you guys find, and I know, we're talking mostly about shopping, but this was one of my biggest pet hates for the last couple of years or probably reasons that I spent so much time fussing over shopping, that it's great that we get to pick what we wear, but it was definitely easier 5-10 years ago to just go, I'll just wear a white shirt with a navy suit, or I'll just wear, in my case, whatever the student placement uniform was back 10 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, I guess, the Steve Jobs and Barack Obama sort of methodology of just wearing the same clothes any day regardless, because it takes one decision out of their hands and you don't have decision fatigue through the day because you're making less decisions on sort of mindless stuff. But yeah, back when I started, just putting on basically the same suit each day with a white shirt and a different coloured tie is significantly easier to find. Of course, on the Friday you'd wear, when it was like a more of a casual day, you'd wear the blue shirt with a tie. But yeah, it was a lot easier back then. What about you, Matthew?
Yeah, same boat. So when I worked with you, Kane, it was a pale coloured shirt. It wasn't anything, tablecloth fancy how it is now, lack of a better term. But what I find frustrating and does take a big chunk out of my time is the difference between the sizes of each brand of shirt. It's just a mind blow. Whenever I rock in there, I'm like, right, over here, please, measure me up. What do I need? Because otherwise you can spend just hours trying to work out, all right, in a Van Heusen I'm this, in a Jeff Banks I'm this, in a Black I'm something different completely altogether. It's just, do you find the same, Ryan?
No, it blows my mind, and this is the thing. Like, I'd love to just shop more online, but I completely agree. And it's like, even sometimes depending on the shipping of, 3 months ago you were like, this size was fitting perfectly, although maybe it's lack of gym, but and 3 months later it's like, is it just me, or are these arm sleeves a lot shorter than they were a little while ago, or something like that? So, no, I completely agree, which is where I think, honing down to ones that do go is sort of a strategy now that I have.
Well, now you've got these down pat that, Black or MJ Bale suit in the particular sizes. Can you move to an online model now of actually going, okay, I know these fit. I can buy a 39 or a 41 or whatever the size is, and it can be shipped to me, and you don't have to drag your poor partners with you to try on another shirt or suit.
I definitely feel confident ordering my Black pants online, just because the size is the size. So that's easy enough said. But I'd never order a shirt online because, yeah, Ryan, I've had exactly the same experience where the sleeves just tend to creep up the arms for no apparent reason. But yeah, that's probably the only thing I'd order online, actually.
Yeah, and I sort of like actually planning time to go shopping. So, I mean, I don't mind the experience. I can kind of work in the city and sort of do it straight after the city, and then maybe plan to catch up with a friend for dinner or something afterwards. So, even as the token millennial here, I'm actually very pro on the old school shopping style.
No, that makes a lot of sense. It's part of that experience, which I can imagine a lot of people enjoy, of going in and trying something on and giving it like a fist pump when yes, it fits just like I wanted it to. I look sharp.
What about with Christmas, guys? How do you go shopping for others? And also with Christmas, like, I mean, me and TK were talking about it at brunch this morning. We were going, and this is going to sound really Grinch, but we're just like, God, Christmas is a bitch in terms of, and I mean, we don't even have kids, but in terms of like, we were like, oh yeah, we're flying out, it's creeping up. We got to find a solution to house sit our rabbits. We've got to pay for parking at the airport that we've forgotten to book yet. We've got to do X, Y, and Z, but also we've got to get presents there, and we've got family over there. And I mean, that's what I love the internet for. But just in terms of shopping and spending and Christmas and the money that goes through it, like, you guys have kids, but what are your thoughts on that? Or is there any gameplays or strategies?
Yeah, probably on the kid front, what we've adopted is it's a one present rule. So the kid will get one present from everyone. So my parents will get him one present instead of like multiple things he can open. So it's only one present. It can be X value or whatever, but only one thing from everyone. Santa can give him a couple of things because he wrote a couple of things to Santa. So, I'm assuming Santa will deliver those things. I'm not sure what happens with the Santa's workshop anymore. I know he's at the North Pole knocking out some toys now, but really it's just a sort of one present rule from everyone. Santa's got his own rule, I guess.
Yeah, we've got Christmas down in Melbourne this year, so Kim's jumped online and ordered a few gifts to be sent to mum and dad's ahead of schedule, just so we don't have to cart too much stuff down there. But I remember doing a bit of a budget a few months ago for Christmas, and it's already blown out. I mean, it's so easy to do, and by the time you add on all these other people, you forget, and you find something in the shop and go, oh, they really love that, and even though you haven't put in your budget. But I think it's one time a year where you've got to sort of, I don't know, expect to spend way too much. I've noticed week by week just the car park filling up so quickly, and I tend to get there at 10 o'clock at least once a week in the morning, and last week was just absolutely chaos.
How do you go buying your partner's presents? Still a lot of creativity there, boys? A lot of thought put in?
I quite like your one present rule, actually. I think we're going to adopt that when we have kids, because otherwise my mum will just send over a freaking smorgasbord of gifts. But yeah, with partners, so what we do is so for example, this year, so we've got a $50 limit on presents to each other, and then we do put a nice bit of coin towards a joint present. When we fly back from Brisbane and a few other bits and pieces, we've got a bit of a staycation in a very nice place in the city. So we've sort of put that as our own present. And yeah, we kind of pick a experience that we do versus extra stuff, and then just get something small. So that sort of helps without going too crazy.
You, Matthew? You and your spouse have been together for quite a long time.
Yeah, 2011 we got married, so coming up quite a while. But all the creativity from us is long gone. We tend to just sort of set a limit, and then she'll pick something or she'll just let me know if there's something that she wants or needs. I'm more of a just go and buy something for me. I don't really care. I prefer the surprise on Christmas Day, regardless if it's something I haven't asked for or something I don't even really want. I always enjoy getting a surprise. So, and I've tried to do that as well with, for me buying for Kim, but she's just said, oh, I'll have this. So that's what she's got.
I'm in the same boat as you there, Matthew. I think I used to have a lot more creativity and thought into all of these things. And now it's kind of got to the stage where it's, there's a price limit on it, and we both do that. And it's, okay, what do you want? Because I could get you something, but you'd inevitably probably hate it. I could think about it some more and you'd probably still hate it. So, hey, just if you want that, you want that round watermelon shaped towel, boom, that's yours.
Yeah, I'm like that for Christmas, like what you are, Matt, in terms of, yep, I'll take a surprise. But come birthdays, I'm just like, here's the list to friends and family. I'm like, do not deviate from the list. I've handpicked it out for you. It's not difficult. I've even picked the sizes if it happens to be clothes. Do not deviate from the list. Although I was going to say, is it just me, or do you guys, and maybe it's just by virtue of getting older, but do you guys just find that seemingly each year there's almost the feel of like, and just whether it's even just amongst us three, but I'm sort of just feeling it out there, is like every year you've got to go bigger than what you did last year.
I think that's kind of just human nature, unfortunately, that people just seem to the need to outdo each other to some extent. But I'm a cynical old bastard.
We don't have that so much on our side, except for me, I try and do it with my dad. So I think in 2010 we got him this this NASCAR experience. He was going across the states, and he's really into NASCAR. So there's this thing, he could go to one of the NASCAR meets and he could, do a few hot laps driving behind the wheel. And when he opened that, he started crying. I'm like, oh, you little ripper. And then the following year, we told him, we gave them a little, I think it was a cot or something like that, alluding to the fact that we were pregnant for the first time. And again, got tears again. So I'm always trying to find things that I can, make him well up every year. So
they're nice. They're pulling on the heartstrings of something which is close to him, especially the cot. Did he use the cot?
Well, he didn't really understand what it was at first, and so we had to throw a few more clues at him. But yeah, the cot gets used.
I think that's right. I probably do the same with my mum, brother, and sister. Like, I just find every year it sort of goes up a notch for them. Do the same thing to try and really invoke a very kind and caring family gift, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's probably something where myself and my sister maybe slip up a little bit. And like, we try to do what we can for our parents with regards to presents. But, we generally ask them what they'd like, and they come up with, oh, nothing. We don't want anything. We don't need anything. So then again, it's trying to, conjure up something out of thin air. So that's the hard bit when you get no sort of guide on anything. Like, Matthew, you obviously come up with the NASCAR thing and then the cot. And then from there, I don't know what you've done since then, but they're a tough bar to jump over. So my bar's so low, I can't really fail.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that. They're like, what do you want? Oh, nothing. I don't want blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, you're the most frustrating person to buy for. And you almost get to one of those where you're like, fine, I won't get you anything because clearly you have everything that you want. But it's probably very different because people go, hey, what do you want? I'm like, well, here's a list. You can follow the list.
But I say that to people. I legitimately don't want anything. Anyone out there who's going to buy me a present who might be listening to this, and they're probably few and far between because not many people buy me a present now for this exact reason. I don't want or need anything. So just, if you want to do something, give the same amount of money you're going to do, give it to charity or something like that, because I would feel better knowing, or not even knowing that you've done that, because I don't need or want anything at the moment.
This year I actually said the same thing to my brother. So he's moved over to Canada, and he's like, what do you want type thing? And I was like, well, actually there's very little this year, if anything, that I want. And I said the exact same thing. I said, whatever you were just going to pay, just hand it on to something else. And I mean, there's a Christmas that I'll never forget that I think it was about 14 or 15 or something. And it was one of the best Christmases we had, in that we went after Christmas and breakfast and presents and that. We actually went and worked I'll use the word soup kitchen, but it wasn't really a soup kitchen. It was like a barbecue thing out in Kings Park over in Perth, where basically we were working and sort of dishing out food to those less fortunate and that kind of thing. And ever since there, we've always had this thing where we allocate presents, say that one of us would get, or mum would buy a couple of presents, she'll buy one less, and something is allocated onto the Kmart Wishing Well tree or onto a donation or something like that. So I think that's a big thing for, especially if people say, oh, nothing, I don't want anything, then I usually turn around and go, okay, what charity do I give your money to?
People should do that. Like, if somebody says I don't want anything, donate the equivalent money to a charity. I think that's a really good way of approaching it, because there's a lot of waste which people get a present and re-gift it, or it ends up in the bin, or recycled a couple of weeks later. So if you legitimately don't want something, then be open and say I don't want something.
I think that's the reason that I have a list. I hate the waste. I hate getting something and just go, oh shit, that's going to wind up in landfill, or I may re-gift it, depending on if I know that somebody will really want that.
So 8 days out, boys. Are we heading back to the shops before the big dance?
I'm done.
Oh, I've probably got 1 or 2 visits to go.
Midnight shopping, is that on the cards?
Well, I haven't done that yet, no. So I'll leave that experience to the really crazy ones like you.
They walk around with canapes for you. It's fantastic.
Well, it's like a Las Vegas casino, is it?
Yeah. Almost, yeah. And you'd be surprised how many people are there at 2 a.m. as well. It's just like a normal day.
That's bizarre.
That's crazy.
That blows my mind, to be honest. Matthew, what about you?
Are you heading back?
You're all done?
No, I'll head back. I've got this is the last week before I head back to full-time work in the new year. So I'll probably try to get back there Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Friday. Need a new pair of sunnies, so I'll do some research and try and get them then.
I'd come for the sunglasses, but I stayed for the canapes.
That's it.
Well, gents, in the spirit of Christmas, that about wraps it up for this week. Do subscribe to Daddy Eats Last on iTunes, and thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week for another episode, or should I say serving of Daddy Eats Last. How's that for a dad joke? Catch you next week, just before Christmas.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.